Welcome back, everybody. I hope everybody had a wonderful winter break, enjoyed that time off, had some fun times celebrating the holidays and spending time with family and with friends, and a much needed break from all of the hard work that y'all been doing. So happy to have you back here on this beautiful January. We got a whole 2024 ahead of us, and we here at Pace Podcast are super excited to keep going with our awesome videos for you, our favorite people, our viewers at home. Big welcome back. Once again, your host, Blake Wright with Central Valley Charter Schools. And thank you so much for listening to your Pace Podcast. Now, hopefully, if you haven't been keeping up on these, maybe it's part of your New Year's resolutions to watch all of our videos, and I think that'd be a great idea. You know what? That is great. You're right. You should do that, right? No, awesome. We really want you guys to all go back, watch all those videos, the tips, the interviews. There's so much awesome information and awesome people that we've had on this show that are totally worth checking out. So maybe New Year's resolution, one a week, catch up, and then look forward to our new releases. All right, so Happy New Year, everybody. And speaking of resolutions, I know that sometimes we have all kinds of different ones, whether it's getting healthier or setting goals for ourselves. And I kind of wanted to touch on today's topic, which will be workplace behavior. And that could also be applicable for the school setting as well. So it's kind of very important to know proper kind of behavior and etiquette when we're in these types of situations, whether it's work or school, or even like formal events and whatnot. And how that kind of ties into our New Year's resolutions is maybe we have a job that we have our eye on that we really want to get this year, or we want to improve in the job that we're in. Having proper workplace behavior and habits can really improve and kind of give us that leg up moving forward with succeeding with that resolution. So I'm going to talk to you about a few different things that we can do to increase our professionalism and make us an even better worker or candidate or student or just person in general. All right, because a lot of these things we can kind of apply to the broader scope, which I'll touch on as well. So the first thing that I want to mention, which is kind of the most basic, but one of the most important things, is punctuality. So we're watching our time. What that means is we don't want to be late, right? In fact, we usually want to be early to whatever we're getting to. I don't know if any of you have heard the saying, like 5 minutes early is 5 minutes too late, or on time is 5 minutes too late. It kind of varies. I know some people like 10 minutes early is still too late getting to the job. And so the reason that's important is because when we sign up to do a job, for example, keeping it in the career zone, we agree to show up or start work at a specific time, let's say 8 a.m., right? And so if we show up right at 8 a.m., we have no time to get ready, to familiarize ourselves with the area. Maybe somebody was there before us and they're handing over a shift. We don't have time to familiarize ourselves with what's going on. Getting there 5 to 10 minutes early is going to help us just kind of get settled in, get kind of the lay of the land, and then get going. You don't have to do any work, but you're there. Additionally, if any bosses, managers, or anyone sees you there coming in early, it's never a bad thing. It's always going to be good. It's going to look great for you. And this kind of trickles into a lot of our other aspects of our lives as well, whether it's social, when we're going to maybe a party or some kind of formal gathering. And it's also helpful in the school setting, right? We have a class that starts at 10:30. Maybe we should get ready, set up, maybe our computer has an update to do. If we're trying to get on right at 10:30 is our class time, and we're hopping on at 10:29, 10:30, and something happens, we're gonna end up being late. We pop that computer open at 10:25, maybe it does a quick update, or we get everything set up and you can just relax. Maybe scroll on some Reels or TikTok or something for a little bit while you wait for class to actually start, right? So always a good idea to be a little early. So punctuality, being on time. All right, number 2, the next one I'm going to tell you about is one that we've kind of discussed a little bit earlier. And if you've been keeping up on your PACE podcast videos, this might sound familiar, but dressing for success. So if I'll go into much more detail in this in a different video, and I'll go ahead and link that one on at the end of this video, so you can go ahead and just go right over to that and watch it as soon as you're done here. But dressing for success is really important. Wearing the proper attire for our jobs. If I'm working at a Subway, I want to make sure that I'm wearing my Subway polo, right? I want to make sure that I'm wearing my work uniform that's provided for me, because that's what my job entails, right? You see people who work for UPS, FedEx, Amazon. When you see people come up to your door, they're all wearing their specific uniforms. You know, the UPS brown is one of the most, first ones I kind of think of. It's very common, and it's like, oh, that person works for UPS, right? And the same thing goes for fast food chain. All kinds of places have uniforms. Now, there's also other places like working in the office where we might be wearing polo or a button up, something a little nicer, more presentable, maybe slacks or jeans. And some places might even be more casual. If we're working as a lifeguard, we could wear a tank top and swim trunks. It's like we're dressing that's appropriate for the place that we're at or we're working. There's that saying, dress for the job you want, right? And so wearing that proper attire is going to help with that. And it's going to send a really good message. So again, without going too much further into that, go ahead and check out that video if you want more detail on tips that you can use to dress for success. All right, moving on. We have being polite and professional. Now this one feels like a no-brainer, but sometimes it's difficult, right? Especially because human beings, us, we have emotions, and sometimes it's really difficult. And when we're in the workplace, tensions can get high, and maybe we don't get along with everybody, or maybe we're frustrated, some things are happening at home, and it's difficult to not bring that into the workplace. And so maybe we want to lash out at somebody, or maybe we just had it. Maybe I'm training and this new person is just not getting the idea, and I just want to scream, or something. Remaining polite and professional is key. And what that kind of looks like is maintaining a calm tone and demeanor, making sure that we treat other people with respect, whether that's our coworkers or the customers or managers or bosses, right? We want to treat everybody with the same amount of respect that we would appreciate for ourselves. And punctuality and dressing properly kind of feeds into being polite, especially being professional. It shows that we respect the job and the people that we work with. And it also gives us an air of professionalism. We're here to do the job, whether, again, that's an actual literal job or we're at school. And we're going to be, maybe I'm so tired of this activity we're doing in class. Well, we're here to learn, and the teachers know that these activities that we do are really good for us and important for us to complete together. And so just even if we get frustrated knowing that, okay, our teacher, my teacher took a lot of time to put this together, and I know it's supposed to benefit me. So even though I'm frustrated, I don't really want to do this, let's just kind of do my best and get through it, and be polite and professional. really good things that are gonna would take you a long way. Because that's the part about life, is a lot of times we're gonna find ourselves in situations where we're frustrated or we don't want to do something, and kind of that's when we show our true test of self. When we don't want to do something, or we are frustrated, or something's really difficult, and we maintain composure, we stay professional, and we continue to do the job that we said we would do. It's much easier said than done, and so practicing that and continuing to do that is going to go a long way in all aspects of our lives. Okay. All right. So speaking of coworkers and people around us, not only do we want to be polite and professional, but we also want to know that work should always come first. And more specifically, when we work with coworkers, sometimes we can form friendships, right? And that's one of the best parts about working outside of that paycheck is those friendships we kind of form with our coworkers, right? We have all kinds of different relationships, whether it's family and friends, siblings, and we have coworkers, people we spend a lot of our lives with. And it can be easy to sometimes make friends with these people, especially when we're working in person with them. We're around them a lot of the days for maybe 8 hours at a time, Monday through Friday, and we get really close. We know a lot about each other's lives, and it could get easy to kind of get swept away in conversation or joking around or having a good time at work, which is all good and fun as long as we're remaining professional. But remembering, again, this is our key one, is work comes first. So once our joking around and having a good time with our coworkers starts getting in the way of getting our work done, maybe I'm supposed to stock the shelves, but my buddy's over mopping the floor in the corner, and I'm just kind of laughing with him. We're telling jokes. I'm telling him about the cool games that I played over the weekend, and before I know it, a half hour goes by because we're talking and laughing and having a good time. My manager comes over and says, "Hey, did you finish stocking the shelves?" What am I going to say? Right? So always finding time to make sure that we get what we're supposed to do done first, and remaining professional while we do so, finding more appropriate times to talk to my buddies at work or our coworkers. If we're doing the same task, if we can multitask, if I can stock and we're both stocking and we can talk, that's great. Or we wait till other times, like a 15-minute break, a lunch break, before and after work. Show up early, 5 to 10 minutes early, and if your coworker does too, you got 5 to 10 minutes to talk, right? And so we kind of see how all these different things bleed together, but they all help when it comes to having good, appropriate workplace behavior. And for a final kind of tip for today, I just wanted to touch on kind of a cliche, very common saying that the customer is always right. And maybe you've heard that before, maybe not. It's kind of, it's been around since I've had my first job and way beyond that. But I mean, usually it comes a little bit more in like service industries, careers, whether it's food or retail, things like that. Even if the customer's wrong, and they're saying something, doesn't mean that they are right, like correct when they say these things. The saying kind of implies that we're treating the customer like they're always right. We want to treat them with kindness and respect and politeness, because at the end of the day, the jobs we work at rely on those customers for income, for money, so that way the business can make money, so that way we can make money. So if the customer comes in and they're dead wrong about something, and we're just like, oh, that is so wrong, you're dumb. We tell them that, and all of a sudden that customer is mad, right? Because nobody likes to be called dumb. And now we just lost a customer forever. All the money that they spend at our store is gone. It's going to be harder for us to get paid, and our manager is going to be really upset, right? So treating the customer like they're always right, treating them like professionally and like people, like, we would want to be treated when we walk into a store. Even if we're wrong, maybe we want to be guided gently towards a better alternative, the right thing, right? And treating the customer and giving them a good experience wherever that may be. And it's really important because sometimes it's not always easy to not say things how it is. Again, if maybe we're having a hard, frustrating day, and this customer comes in and they're just rude, even if they're rude and mean, and what they're saying is not even in the realm of being right, still have to treat them kindly and respect. That saying, like, kill them with kindness. We want to make sure that we are being as nice as possible, because that's going to ensure that we are not only protecting ourselves, but protecting the business, the people around us, and protecting the customers from escalating, right? And if we feed into that, if we get upset as well, then all of a sudden we have a much more difficult and far less professional environment that we're in. So hopefully that makes sense. Treating the customers basically with respect and kindness, right, at all times, no matter how frustrating it is. And so to sum up, we want to be on time, we want to dress well, we want to be polite and professional, and that goes with both our coworkers, our bosses, and our customers. We also want to make sure that we always are getting our job done and getting it done first. Seems pretty easy, right? It seems pretty straightforward, but it takes a lot of practice. And sometimes it takes a lot of emotional maturity and knowing ourselves, and knowing when it's appropriate to have fun or be polite, and finding healthy alternatives to expressing frustrations and anger, if it comes up in our jobs or at school, finding healthier ways to express that, and rather than taking it out on a coworker or a customer or a boss, right? Because that might result in some kind of discipline, whether it's firing or a warning or whatever it might be. So we want to keep these things in mind when we're gunning for that New Year's resolution of getting that new job we've had our eye on, or for improving in the one we're already in, right? So that said, what are your ideas? What are some things that have helped you work better in the workplace? What are good workplace habits that you've kind of picked up over the years, or that you think would be good? And also, with the New Year's, what kind of resolutions do you have? For me, it's, trying to write a little bit each day, and, trying to keep a little bit better contact with family members. I'm not the best at texting or phone calls, so, trying to be a little bit more better at communicating with friends and family. So what's yours? Let us know down in the comments. Again, check out that other video we have, Dress for Success. You don't want to miss it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. I'll throw it up here for you. And as always, thank you so much for coming in and checking out Pace Podcast Studios here in Central Valley Charter Schools. It's a wonderful new year. Let's make it another good one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.